guys, my name is Sarah and today I'm here to talk about the history of sunglasses. Very fun. So I took my own sunglasses today from home, even though it's raining, especially for this lesson. So I'm very excited for today's article. But I'm going to take them off because it's a little dark. Okay, so we see sunglasses every day walking outside on the street, but did you know that sunglasses have been around for a really long time? I didn't know that. So I learned a lot by reading this article. So we're gonna read the article together and then we're gonna talk about some of the more difficult words in both Korean and English, and then we're gonna read it together one more time. Okay? Are you ready? Let's start. Sunglasses are a type of eyewear worn mainly for protecting eyes from damaging bright lights. Experts recommend wearing sunglasses on sunny days to shield against ultraviolet radiation. Ooh. During ancient times, the Inuit people were known for wearing ivory snow goggles. They looked through narrow slits that helped block the sun's rays by reducing exposure. By the 12th century, China had smoky quartz sunglasses that protected eyes from the sun's glare. Chinese documents also mention crystal sunglasses, meant for hiding facial expressions. They were used by judges in courts. Interesting. Around 1752, optician James Ayscough began working on tinted lenses for glasses. Rather than protection from the sun, Ayscough focused on using tinted glasses to help with vision impairments. Chemist William Crookes introduced sunglasses that blocked ultraviolet light in 1913. It's a long time ago. By the early 1920s, the popularity of sunglasses rose thanks to the influence of movie stars wearing them, along with being inexpensively mass-produced. Lots of difficult words in this week's article, but a lot of really interesting information. So we're gonna review some vocabulary words together. So the first word is eyewear. Eyewear. So when we look at this word, what do we see? There are two parts. So the first one, simple, eye, and the second one, wear. So it makes sense that eyewear is something that you wear on your eyes. So usually eyewear refers to glasses like these. They can be glasses for helping you see, or they can be sunglasses to help protect your eyes from the sun. So in Korean, we can just say 안경류. So just any kind of glasses, anything that you wear on your eyes. So for example, we can also say that sunglasses are a type of eyewear made for protecting eyes from damaging bright lights. So this is in our article for this week. So there are different types of eyewear. 그 eyewear 몇 가지가 있는데 그냥 일반 안경도 있고 sunglasses도 있는데, so sunglasses are a type of eyewear that protect your eyes from the sun. So very important. Okay, here's another word, recommend. Recommend. So if you like shopping online, or if you look at blogs to find out about good restaurants on the internet, you'll like this word. You'll see it a lot in both English and in Korean. So recommend in Korean is 추천하다. So sometimes you go on like Naver and you see like 추천 맛집 있잖아요. So you want to go to the 추천 맛집. You don't want to just go to any regular restaurant because you don't know if the food is good or if the price is good. So I always look for 추천 맛집 or recommended restaurants whenever I go out to eat. So when you recommend something, you tell somebody that it's good or you advise them to either buy or go to or use some kind of product or service. So for example, in English we can say, my friend recommended the Korean restaurant, and when we went, the food was excellent. So in Korean, we can say, 저의 친구는 이 한식당을 추천했는데 가보니까 음식이 너무 맛있어요. So if you want to say that in English, you can just read this sentence right here. So recommendations and having people recommend good places to eat or shop is very, very important and very helpful. We can also say that experts recommend wearing sunglasses on sunny days. 그래서 이거 한국어로 하자면 좀 해가 좀 많이 밝은 날이 있잖아요. 그런 날에 선글라스 끼는 거 그 전문가들이 추천합니다. 그래서 이거 이렇게 영어로 하자면 experts recommend wearing sunglasses 이렇게 할 수 있습니다. So I hope that you'll recommend this video to your friends. Okay, ultraviolet. Ultraviolet. Whew, this is a little bit of a difficult word. So in Korean, we can translate this to 자외 선에. So ultra here, this ultra부터. So ultraviolet can also be split into two parts. So there's one part ultra and another part violet. So we all know that this is the light spectrum, so all of the different lights that come from the sun, and then this is the little tiny part of it that we can actually see with our eyes. And it goes from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then violet, right? So if we want to say that something is beyond violet, something in this direction, something that is more than what we can actually see, we can call it ultraviolet. And that's because ultra right here means beyond or outside, which is why in Korean we have this character here. So ultraviolet light can cause sunburn and vision loss in humans. So ultraviolet light, it's actually kind of dangerous, even though we can't see it with our eyes. So that's why experts recommend wearing sunglasses to shield against ultraviolet radiation. So on days when the sun is really, really bright, if you just go outside and you don't cover your eyes at all, you can hurt your eyes over the long term because the ultraviolet light, this light that we can't see, is going into our eyes and it's making our eyes get weaker. So that's why we should always wear sunglasses when the sun is bright outside. So you can look at this again. It's kind of pretty, right? But thanks to the sun, we can see lots of beautiful colors, but it's so powerful, we have to protect ourselves using sunblock and sunglasses. Okay, here's another word. I think it's a little bit of an easy word. I think you should get it. It's ancient. Ancient. So it kind of doesn't sound like what it looks like. It kind of looks like it would be ancient. That's not right. It's ancient. Yeah. I know English pronunciation is really hard even for us, but I know that you can do it. So ancient in Korean means 고대, 고대적인, 고대의. So something that's ancient is from a long time ago or something that's really, really old. So for instance, these are statues from ancient Greece. So in the country that today is Greece, but a really, really, really long time ago. I think over 3,000 years. So super, super old. So in ancient Greece, people worshipped many gods. And that's because in ancient Greece, they had a special religion. For instance, Zeus and Hera and all those fun stories that you might have read, it was actually the religion of ancient Greece. So pretty cool, right? But ancient Greek religions are not the only thing that existed in ancient times. During the ancient times, Inuit people wore ivory snow goggles. So the Inuit people right here are the native people of Canada. So right now, and as you know, Canada is very, very, very cold in the winter, so there's a lot of snow. And if you look at the snow, when the sun is really bright, it can actually damage your eyes. So the Inuit people, the 원주민 of Canada, they wore ivory snow goggles. So this is what they looked like. It's kind of interesting, right? So here's the ivory right here. And they cut a slit, this little hole right here, it's shaped like a line, into the ivory to prevent the sunlight from going into their eyes. So it's pretty interesting, I think. So the Inuit reduced exposure to the sun using these ivory sun goggles. So what does it mean to reduce exposure? So in Korean, we can say 노출을 줄이다. So if I want to reduce my exposure to the sun with my skin, I can wear a cardigan, I can put on sun cream or sunblock, and I can wear my trusty sunglasses. So very, very important. So here we can see that the Inuits, these people here, looked through narrow slits in their goggles. So these are the narrow slits that reduced exposure to the sun's rays. So back in the ancient times, people didn't have the special glass or the special chemicals that we need to make, to coat the glass that can actually block the sun's ultraviolet rays. So at that time, the best thing that they could do was just to cut a little hole into these ivory so that less sunlight would go in, so that they can protect their eyes. Quartz. This is kind of a fun word to pronounce. Quartz. So in Korean, we call it 석영. So here is a picture of some quartz that turned into a crystal, because quartz comes in many forms. So what is quartz? Quartz is a common mineral that comes in many colors, and it can occur in masses and crystals. So quartz, there's a lot of quartz, or this element right here, in nature. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. And fortunately, it can be really beautiful, just like this. And it kind of looks a little bit like glass. And what do we wear in sunglasses? Of course, this is glass or plastic. So back then, it was really, really difficult to make glass. So what a lot of people did was use this naturally occurring quartz from nature to make sunglasses, which I didn't know. So for instance, in the article we read that the Chinese used quartz sunglasses that protected the wearer's eyes from the sun during the 12th century. So that's 800 years ago. So really, really long time ago. Of course, back then they didn't have sunglasses like these ones. So they used this quartz to protect their eyes. But I think maybe it would have been difficult to see in front of you. So it's good because the light from the sun can't get in, but then also everything that's around you also can't get into your eyes. So I'm super glad that we have these kinds of sunglasses today. This is much more cheap. It looks better, I think, and we can actually see everything that's around us. So, but I think this is a really creative idea. So these are different types of quartz. You can see there's lots of different colors. There's red, there's purple, there's green, there's lots of different colors. So back then they would use all different kinds of quartz to make sunglasses. Very interesting. So these are what the glasses looked like back in ancient China in the 12th century. So it's actually, I think, very impressive. You can see pretty clearly, but you see it has a blue tint that's another word we're going to go over. A blue tint that prevents the sun's rays from going right into your eye. Pretty interesting. Okay, so that brings us to our next word, tinted lenses. So what is a tint? So a tint, like we just saw, is something that's diluted or mixed with a color to make it less clear. It's not invisible. So 반투명하게 만드는 이런 틴트가 있습니다. So back in 1752, James Ayscough began working on tinted lenses for glasses. So these are not tinted, non-tinted glasses, and then these ones are tinted. And of course, sunglasses that we wear today all have tinted lenses. You can also tint a window. So for instance, if your window faces another building, maybe you don't want people to see into your room, you can put up a tinted sticker. It's kind of gray, and it makes it so when someone's looking from the outside, they can't see anything, but you can see outside. And a lot of cars also have tinted windows. So it's a pretty commonly used word. So for instance, you can say that tinted windows prevent people from seeing inside a house or a car. So very, very useful. So here we see a tinted window. This one is tinted just 30%, so you can still see outside very clearly. This one's 20%, it's a little bit less clearly, so it only lets in 20% of light. And this one is 5%, and you can barely see anything at all. So I think sunglasses also have different levels of tint, different amounts of light that they let inside. So the lower the level, the less light can get into your eyes, which is good because it protects your eyes, but it also becomes more difficult to see. So it's kind of tricky. All right, so here's another tricky vocabulary word. Let's go over it together. It's a vision impairment. A vision impairment. So someone with a vision impairment, they have trouble using their eyes to see. So in Korean, we can say it's a 시력 장애. So it's not necessarily totally blind, but people who are totally blind all have some kind of vision impairment. So some people's vision impairment is small, sometimes it's a little bit bigger or more serious. So what is a vision impairment exactly? So in English, we say it's a decreased ability to see that causes problems. So if I have a small vision impairment, just a little bit, I think it causes a few problems. Maybe I can't see super far away, but I can still see the things that are close to me. But if someone has a very serious vision impairment, maybe even if a book is right here, they can't see the letters. And in that case, you should go to the doctor and get some glasses. I hope that none of you have a vision impairment that is making it difficult to watch this video. So in the article that we read that a doctor used tinted lenses to help people with vision impairment. So back then, he didn't know that these tinted lenses could help protect your eyes from the sun. He thought it would help people who have issues or trouble seeing. He thought it would help them be able to see more clearly. Of course, today we know that these tinted lenses are, although they're also useful for people with vision impairment, it's most helpful for protecting our eyes from ultraviolet rays, which we talked about earlier, remember? However, I think maybe your mom already told you this, but I'm going to tell you again. Looking too closely at screens can also cause vision impairment. So if you're looking at your phone like this all day, That's not good. You shouldn't do that. It's bad for your eyes, and it can cause a vision impairment later in life. So it's more healthy to look at your phone from a little bit further away, or to just not look at your phone at all, which I know is really difficult. I definitely look at my phone way too much, but I try to limit it because I don't want to get a vision impairment that would cause issues in my daily life. Okay, so this is our last word for today. And it's also a very useful word. It's mass-produced. Mass-produced. So in Korean we can say 대량 생산. So something that's made in huge quantities, something that we make a lot of. And usually the more you make of something, the lower the price gets. So that's a really good thing. So for instance, back in the ancient times, back in the old days, actually back in not even that long ago, most people made their clothes at home. And it took a lot of time, it took a lot of money, it was really expensive. But nowadays, most of our clothes is mass produced in factories. So they make a lot of different clothes really fast, and that's good for the consumer, you and me, the people who are buying stuff, because we have more choices and we can get higher quality, so better clothes, and we can also have more clothing because it's mass produced. And so what about sunglasses? Sunglasses are mass produced today, and that started back in the 1920s, so 100 years ago. By the 1920s, sunglasses were being inexpensively mass produced and worn by movie stars. So when you imagine someone wearing sunglasses, you think, oh, maybe that person is kind of cool, right? So that actually started 100 years ago when movie stars, such as this one, would wear sunglasses and people would take pictures of them. They thought it looked very cool, they thought it looked very stylish. So to this day, in American culture, wearing sunglasses is considered to be very cool. So I noticed that a lot of people in Korea don't wear sunglasses, and I thought that was really interesting because in the summer in America, almost everyone is wearing sunglasses all the time. And I think most people wear it because they think it looks cool, but there's also the added benefit of protecting your eyes from the sun, so I recommend it to all of you. All right, so we made it all the way to the end of our new vocabulary, so should we read through the history of sunglasses one more time? All right, so we already reviewed the words, so if there's something you don't know, just go back and you review it, and then we can read through this one time in English. All right, are you ready? Sunglasses are a type of eyewear worn mainly for protecting eyes from damaging bright lights. Experts recommend wearing sunglasses on sunny days to shield against ultraviolet radiation. During ancient times, the Inuit people were known for wearing ivory snow goggles. They looked through narrow slits that helped block the sun's rays by reducing exposure. By the 12th century, China had smoky quartz sunglasses that protected eyes from the sun's glare. Chinese documents also mention crystal sunglasses, meant for hiding facial expressions. They were used by judges in courts. Around 1752, optician James Ayscough began working on tinted lenses for glasses. Rather than protection from the sun, Ayscough focused on using tinted glass to help with vision impairment. Chemist William Crookes introduced sunglasses that blocked ultraviolet light in 1913. By the early 1920s, the popularity of sunglasses rose thanks to the influence of movie stars wearing them, along with being inexpensively mass-produced. I had no idea that this little pair of sunglasses had so much history inside, so I learned a lot, and I definitely learned that I should wear my sunglasses when it's bright outside to protect my eyes. Very, very important. All right, well, thank you so much for listening to today's class. I think we all learned a lot. So yeah, we also learned a lot of interesting information and also some very useful English vocabulary. So I hope you all enjoyed today's lesson. All right, have a great day. Bye.